welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and like the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more content. Thank you for watching. Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another part of the Pocky challenge, this time featuring KyouHaba and BokuAka. This part is actually hurt comfort. In one of these ships there is mentions of self-harm, so there is a trigger warning for that. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy. KyouHaba highly doubted he could pull this off. He groaned internally, sinking in his seat, waiting for his lover to come back from the bathroom so they continued to watch the movie. Well, Kiyotani would. KyouHaba would have no other choice but to figure out what he was going to do for the challenge. While the setter could be flirty and take the initiative, the sparker would always one-up him without prevail. It irritated him to no end. So he had to prove himself with this challenge, or else he highly doubts he would ever have the chance to redeem himself again. Except he had no idea how to go about his plan. There are many ways. Some he admits he'd love to see Kiyotani's reaction to, like maybe seducing him. However, that wasn't him, oddly enough. He'd subconsciously plopped into the sparker's lap as soon as he sat down on the couch, his head laid on his strong thighs while he nuzzled in closer into his stomach. Shige? The setter's finger slowly traced the latter's hip bone underneath his shirt and was surprised to feel his lover running his fingers through his hair. Is something wrong? No. His hands crept into the small dips in his lower back. You're just warm. Are you cold? His voice was gentle and what seemed only for KyouHaba, and he didn't mind it. He never imagined in a million years that this was Kiyotani's true side. He'd always been so put off, like he had an infinite amount of walls blocking himself away from the world. KyouHaba curses the sparker's parents for letting such horrid things happen to their son that made him so broken and guarded. No, you were just really warm. He repeated once more, letting his eyelids close, taking in deep breaths of Kintaro's scent. Wait, are you falling asleep? Maybe. The blonde shifted in his seat so that he laid flat on the couch and let the setter lay on his chest, their legs getting tangled underneath the blanket the spiker threw over them. Then get some rest, love. No, he whined, flapping his arms around like a little kid before finding his hands back underneath the latter's shirt. No? He simply nodded his head. Okay. Why don't you want to take a nap? The blonde's arm held the setter close, with his fingers getting tangled in the strands of hair while his other hand was playing with KyouHaba's one free hand. No, you're supposed to stop me. He pouted, accidentally kicking the blanket back some. Why should I stop you? If you're tired, then you should... Kiss me, please. Kiyotani smiled lightly, gently brushing his lips against his lover's. It was only then KyouHaba cursed that the Pocky was in the other room. He went through a lot of trouble to obtain it by going to the store and finding the spiker's favorite, which is surprisingly difficult to find. Maybe coconut chocolate was popular. Either way, he was too lazy to get up and get it. Maybe he could save it for next time. KyouHaba deepened the kiss by towering over the blonde and pressed his body against his lover, earning a groan. Shige, what are you doing? He smirked, flipping the taller over so no KyouHaba was pinned to the couch. Kiyotani brushed his calloused thumb lightly across the latter's jawbone, sending chills prickling up his spine. He wanted more, and that was bad. He wasn't supposed to win this one. Yet there he went, one-upping him in the most alluring way. Fine. I was challenged into doing a Pocky challenge with you. The blonde raised his eyebrow, not sure if he should buy this excuse. Are you sure about that? He mimicked his actions from prior by sticking his hand underneath the thin fabric of his shirt and leaned down, beginning to suck on the delicate skin near his collarbone. Wait, Ken, I'm serious. It was a challenge. He sucked in a harsh intake of air, finding the strength to push the ladder away, vanish into the hot air in between them. But suddenly the spacker pulled back and sat up, confusing the setter. Kentaro? He was eerily silent. Would you have done the challenge if you went there too? So this is what it was. I mean, I don't know. It never really occurred to me before. He looked down. You know, you can do that stuff with me if you want. You don't have to. No, never mind. He stood up from his seat on the couch, but was dragged back down immediately by the setter. No, finish what you were saying. He swung his leg over, so he was back to pinning the shoulder, who groaned, realizing he wasn't getting away anytime soon. Ken. KyouHaba placed a small kiss on the latter's temple. Please tell me. I want to help cast away any doubt you may bear. Fine. He sighed before letting his head drop on his lover's shoulder, the small spikes of his hair brushing over KyouHaba's still tender skin on his collarbone that turned into a vivid red. I shunned everyone away for so long, you in particular. No matter what I did to try to shake you, you kept on coming back to me with your arms held wide. I was scared. He was scared? Of him? I was afraid of letting anyone in and getting comfortable, but now I feel those actions still hold its consequences today. What? What did he mean? I was so mean to you. Every time I pushed you away, every nasty word I said to you, you still stayed. His voice became raw with emotion and KyouHaba's shoulder became damp. Of course I stayed. I'll always stay. I was just scared that you wouldn't want to do what normal couples do because of who I am. Who you are doesn't define you in my heart. He lifted the specker up and brushed his tears away with his thumbs. I'll love you until all of the stars in the universe burn out. Nothing you did was your fault. You were just scared, and that's okay. We all get scared and lash out because of our blinding fears. I am here. I'll always be. He hadn't noticed the pressure of Kiyotani's arms squeezing his waist. He was going to do everything in his power to assure what he feels are valid emotions. Maybe one day he will feel safe enough to let more people in his life. Until then, he will stay acting as his oxygen so he can live. Who wants to sign a petition to brutally destroy Mad Dog Chan's parents? I'm down for this one, Kawa. Literally, I didn't realize how much of a bean he is. He's been hurt time and time again, probably by those people called his parents. I wonder if that's why he looks up to Iwazumi-san. Stop, you're going to make me cry. It would make sense though. He could have been the first person Kiyotani looked up to, and that admiration turned into some sort of dependence of keeping it that way. Maybe that's why he listens to Iwazumi-san's every word. He is afraid of disappointing him. So yes, we all signed the petition. I'll go next. Take care of Kiyotani, KyouHaba. I will. I promise. Akashi had been hesitant on doing this challenge. For a while now, it seemed his lover suffered from something much greater than he'd imagined. The dark circles under his eyes grew with each passing day. It became evident that something was wrong. The first thing that came to mind was maybe it had something to do with Bokuto at home. If that was the case, he needed to intervene. Hey Bo, can I spend the night? The captain of Fukurodani turned his head, practically pouncing on top of the smeller, already excited to spend the night cuddling the love of his life. Yes, do you need to run to your place first, or are we coming over after practice? I'll just wear your clothes. He teased, knowing just how much Bokuto loved seeing him in his oversized t-shirts. It seemed practice dragged on much longer than the setter would have liked, and his concern only grew when there was less emo phases of Bokuto and more stumbling. There was one specific time he was ready to dive in and catch the captain. He looked so close to backing out. The walk home was quick, given his brisk steps left little room for lost time. As soon as they were behind closed doors, specifically in Bokuto's room, Akashi said one word that made the owl second guess if he heard correctly. Strip. The raven hated himself for even thinking it, but this odd behavior made him question his home life. He just needed to make sure. He swore on every living thing on this planet that if there was a single mark on his body, then he would be out for blood. What? His cheeks turned into a vibrant pink. I could do it for you if you're tired from practice. Yeah, I don't think that is for the best. He had no idea what he was getting himself into. He tore off his shirt, looking sheepishly to the side, seeing his lover study every little detail. Do you feel sore? No, not really. Akashi's ocean blue eyes stared deeply into the latter's golden ones, which seemed dull, contrasting with the dark colors underneath his eyes. Akashi, what's going on? I could ask you the same thing. His thumb traced underneath his eyes, wanting to rid him of it all. We had an extended practice. Let's get ready for bed. He walked away before anything else was said. He dodged the question. Never once had he ever dodged a question like that. While he is definitely relieved to see there are no bruises on him, there is still something wrong, and he was going to figure it out. Nightfall emerged, and Akashi hadn't been able to get anything from the owl, only a rather quiet night. That, and a complete freakout when he offered some Pocky that he was going to use for the challenge. It was all odd. He swatted it away. Strawberry Pocky is his favorite. Now he was soundly asleep, holding Keiji in his arms, who was still wide awake, trying to pull everything together that he knows. It was like some intricate puzzle. It was one that he was scared to what he would find. He grimaced, feeling the grip of the older's arm around him tighten significantly. It was only then he was torn from his thoughts and heard a frantic breathing and mumbling from Bokuto. Bo? He tried getting up, but was held down and surprised by the fact he still had so much strength when asleep. Instead, he squirmed around so that now he's facing the ace. The sight squeezed at his heart. His eyes were squeezed shut, and beads of sweat dripped from his brow. He had a pained look on his face. Ko, baby, wake up. Was he having a nightmare? That was the only thing he could think of. Either that, or this is something far more medically concerning. No. Hey, wake up. The pressure against his waist increased to where it was almost painful. Kotaro, wake up. You're okay. It's just a dream. As if by some miracle, the owl woke up at the start, completely shoving Akashi off of the bed in the process. He groaned, feeling the impact knocking the air out of his lungs. Thankful he didn't hit his head, or he would have been disoriented for a while, and Bokuto didn't need that right now. After catching his breath, he stood up and crawled back into the bed, meeting the latter's wide golden eyes, yet was tackled down on the bed. This was a tight embrace that wasn't as painful as before, yet still tight like his life depended on never letting go. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Keiji. Hey, you have nothing to be sorry about. You did nothing wrong. I left you. What? Surely this must be about the dream. Maybe the dream was about him. It's okay. It was just a dream. Do you want to talk about it? He nodded his head, choking on his tears. Okay, but you have to breathe with me first. Let's calm down. This was easier said than done. Even his own pulse thundered against his skin. It took several minutes of him catching his breath so he could speak clearly. Even still, the setter waited patiently, speaking nothing but sweet reassurances and rubbing his back, the warm touch being everything he needed. I died. Keiji froze at those words. It wasn't something he could ever imagine happening. But the dream still continued, and you were so sad. Even if he did die, all his concerns were his well-being. This selfless man was going to be the death of him. It's okay now. It was a dream. You're alive, and I'm happy with you by my side. You don't get it. You were so sad, He choked on more tears. I what? You hurt yourself, Keiji. His eyes widened. He could probably put the pieces together to know what happened towards the end, and it made him grimace. He saw all of that. I'm sorry you had to see that go, but I'm unharmed. You can even check if it puts your mind at ease. He was cut off when he felt the fabric tear from his body, the taller examining his skin and gently tracing over his flawless arms. He now understood how Bokuto felt earlier. It was almost embarrassing. See? I'm okay. He cleared his throat, feeling weird having him look at his body. He plopped back down, exhausted. His mind flashed to Bokuto almost collapsing on the court and his tired eyes. Wait, how long have you been having these dreams? About 2 weeks. That explained everything. Ko, if this doesn't stop, we'll have to go to the doctor. You need rest. He nodded his head, already shutting his eyes. It's strange. I've told you everything, and you're here. It brings me at peace. The raven smiled lightly, running his fingers through the knots that formed during his outbursts. Just sleep. It'll be okay. I'll be here whenever you wake up. I promise. The captain held up his pinky, making the smiler giggle, and sealed the promise by linking his pinky with hers. Almost immediately after, he was asleep, this time nightmare-free. Oh boy, if Kuro heard about this... Wait, has anyone noticed that only a few of us actually did the challenge? What can we say? We are angst addicts. Yeah. Anyways, it's Sumo's turn. So as I am currently recording this video, I realized my writer's block would not allow me to write the 4th part in time, so instead of the 4th part of the Pocky challenge, which I am so sorry about, I will instead post one of my drafts. So yeah. Again, so sorry about the confusion. But whenever I do get back, the 4th part of the Pocky challenge will be the first video that I do upload. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you'd like to be kept up to date, check out any of my social medias. I hope that you'll have a wonderful day or evening.